The Whiskey Brothers podcast is intended for an adult listening audience. If you find yourself easily offended, I guarantee this will do it.
They don't want no problems, nah.
From Houston, Texas, the Whiskey Brothers podcast starts now.
Welcome, everybody, to the Whiskey Brothers podcast. Yes. 943, that's the episode. I, your host, Slade Ham. Sam Damaris to my right, Trey Tutson across the table. Jerry Wayne Longmire not in his usual seat, weirdly, back of the room on his way to a show.
He looks so angry.
He looks,
I have no idea. He's waddling
because he's not here.
Yeah.
It would frustrate you if you didn't have, if you knew you weren't going to be here and you had to go to a show, you would be frustrated. And it's not like you can just leave here and listen to it on the radio. Yeah, you gotta wait till tomorrow to see what we say about you. You know what I mean? That's the have a good show, man. The 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, and 8s. We're just gonna put him on all of it. Will Loden, our good friend. Across the table, though, in the important seat, Paul Oddo.
Hello.
Welcome to the show, buddy. You're going to be here tonight, and you'll be back for this week's Is This Thing On?
Yeah,
across the table from Sam Damaris, as well as we're going to put J.K. Spindler on the other seat. So it's a Whiskey Brothers centric show tomorrow.
I haven't seen that yet. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Cheers. It's good to have you back in Houston and not in the digital realm. As we've only seen you in the past. I think you did a marathon thing with us, right?
Yeah, a little bit of that.
Jumped on for a moment, and now we have you in the studio. You have made the long trek back. You were Paul Oddo. You were Bob Biggerstaff's roommate. Up in New York, and you tore the wall down and you kicked him out. Is that how that went down?
I did. I uncaged Bob. He was in that little room, and but he left about a month or so before I got out of there. Okay. But then I had to get the apartment back to the state that I had it in when I first moved in, so I could get my deposit.
Oh, because you left.
Yes, and it's so funny. Everybody. Anytime you talk about deposits, everyone's like, "You're not getting your deposit." It's like, the fuck, I'm not getting my goddamn deposit. I've always got
the only deposit that I've ever been in an arrangement that didn't get it back was when my mom moved us out of the house we lived in for like 10 years as kids.
Oh, okay.
In Beaumont, and there was no house to get a deposit back on. Okay. We left that thing. There were holes in every wall. It's amazing. It was still structurally standing.
Right.
So other than that, I've never had a problem.
A lot of people apparently do, and I didn't. I was like, this is gonna happen. I mean, I had it all set up. I mean, I had a lot of little plans set up in case they weren't gonna give me the deposit back.
Did you think there were gonna be a couple of objections on their part?
Yeah, because they're kind of shady. It's New York people, so you never know. They're just, their default is to be a shady fuck. So like, I was kind of scheming in case there was static. I started a whole Facebook group for my building during pandemic, and just nobody talks to their neighbors. But it was during lockdown, and so I started that up, and then I did a re-up on it about 3 weeks before I moved out, and I put QR codes all over the apartment building with the Facebook group, just do your phone. And so I got all these people on there, and then I said, all right, I'm leaving. And I've gotten a little bit of static about getting my deposit back. I'm going to let you guys know if I get it. So that way, if I don't, to not pay your last month's rent. So I had like 35 people waiting to hear.
Oh.
And then as I got conversations with the landlord, he's like, well, you're staying a few extra days and all this. Is like, well, I got this Facebook group. And so they kind of got a little bit of the hint. And they just post-dated the check. So that's all it was. So like I can cash it tomorrow.
Nicely done.
Yeah, I'm not going to let that city kick me in the ass on the way out the door.
That's got Texan on him on the way out. You brought a posse.
Very ready. But you started off with like, I've had a great time living in this apartment building.
And with my deposit money, I'm gonna say great things about you.
Looking forward to giving you whatever kind of horseshit Yelp review thing you guys need for landlords. So it was good, but I was not about to just eat that money.
Good for fuck that.
I have never even expected a deposit.
That's
back.
Mostly what I hear people say.
I've never gotten a deposit back.
What?
I don't even want it. Like,
do you ask?
No, I just like it's y'all's because I didn't probably did so much crooked shit to get in that it's almost like, yo, I appreciate y'all just letting me stay through this whole ride. I ain't looking for a deposit back. I've never even, the fact that you even went through those lengths to even try to get the deposit, because I know it seemed like you did some Jesus carpentry.
I did, and I also I was never the type of person that needed my landlord's help for stuff. You know, if something broke, I just fix it.
Okay.
And so
See, he's same boat.
I had that kind of thing. You know, it's like toilet's broken, I'll fix it. Whatever.
I can call you. It's
shit
going
like
to take
that.
you 2 weeks, or I can just do this in an afternoon for
and you'll-
$6, and it's just done.
Right.
I feel like you call all carpentry Jesus carpentry. I feel like it all seems like wizardry to you.
Well, they never say.
Have you ever
exactly what he did.
carpentered anything?
Let me see. One summer, my mom made me fix a toilet, which
Not carpentry.
Which we had. That's not carpentry.
What was wrong with it?
It just wasn't. I don't know. It wasn't flushing.
Chain came off.
It was a lot of. I don't know. Here's the thing. It had a problem, and then I went to fix it, and it had more problems after that.
That sounds like anytime I try to fix anything.
So I made so many, and in that time, that's when I was learning how to drive. So she was like, "Hey, if something breaks, you could just go back to Home Depot." So I don't even know if I was breaking it just to get more driving time in, like on purpose. I might have been fucking shit up, but let me see.
You know, you could have just gone to Home Depot with $20.
And just brought back a Mexican.
Absolutely.
That's the way I get everything fixed.
Then I would have been on my own since I was 16. You don't bring a Mexican back to that house.
Well, a big part of why I had to get the deposit back was how much the truck cost to rent. So it was like to get a Sprinter van one way from New York was like $2,200.
Whoa.
Jesus.
Yeah. And that's not with gas. That's just for a week,
To
unlimited
one way,
miles.
yeah.
That's it. And it's because of the pandemic. They're like, yeah, this was half price before the whole thing happened, and now everybody's just
Moving.
Yep, that's the thing.
You know, the way to do it is to strike a bargain with somebody who's moving up to New York with
I've
hope in
heard
their
this
eye.
too.
And then you rent the truck on the way down, and you pass it off, and then it's dropping it back off to the same location in
Yeah.
New York.
Like on Sha'Carri Richardson. The
Yeah,
goddamn
but bro, when you,
Clever.
it's if you bring it back to the same location, it's infinitely cheaper than dropping it off at like some 2,000 mile away location. So you just buddy up with somebody who still has hope in their eye.
Yeah.
1,000%.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You send them up there with that fucking rickety van full
Here
of
you go,
broken
man.
dreams.
You should have
Yeah.
seen how many moving vans were on
I'm
the
leaving
road
the ghost in this
between
bitch.
here and there.
Oh, I'm sure.
So many people moving on the road. It was so many people just going my direction and the other. It's just everywhere. There was a brief window of time right after the the lockdowns where you could get a pretty good deal on a place in New York, and that just went away. But there was a lot of people that locked into some good stuff.
There had to have been a small window where you just looked at New York and went, well, that place is a petri dish. I'll roll the dice that they're going to clean it up at some point.
They kind of did.
And it's exactly what happened. Right?
Yeah. I mean, the subway smelled like, Clorox wipes for a couple of weeks and the whole thing.
God,
And
was that weird?
It was. I didn't even like it.
Like no pee at all.
It doesn't feel real. You got to pee a little. And otherwise, it's not the experience. I didn't go there for protected sex with that city. Like, what's the point in doing that? But that's what got me riding my bicycle everywhere, was just avoiding subway stuff. And I bought a bike during the pandemic.
I thought it
and
was
just-
the aroma of piss.
Yeah, well, I could smell it all out. Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some people will tell you, man, the Queens fee is not like the Manhattan
In
fee.
Manhattan, yeah, it's totally different.
And Brooklyn's
Upper
totally
echelon.
Oh, are you kidding me?
That's all farm-raised, grass-fed with.
Yeah, but I like that Sunday morning Chelsea Market pee.
Like
Yeah.
kombucha pee.
That's right. Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah, your Lower East Side piss, a little bit different from a Chelsea and
You can tell
a
you call it
Breeze.
piss.
Yeah.
Have you ever been pissed on?
Whoa!
Not for fun or anything.
When we talking about piss?
I mean, not. How do you mean it?
Like you seem like you had a lot of sexual experiences. Have
Oh
you
no, I
drifted
draw the
over
line.
into-
I draw the line at that. Well, hold on.
Come on now.
Talk
to
do
me.
you count squirt?
See, that's the nobody
So
knows.
that's always that
Nobody
debate.
knows. The number 3.
You're technically getting peed on.
It was one of those things. I've experienced that once, and God bless her, she's a sweet girl.
Once?
But,
She did?
ran into one. That's it.
What?
And
You
she
only had one squirter?
That's it. Yeah, and she
No, no,
told
no.
me. She told me prior
I have questions. There's so many.
it was going to happen. I was like, okay, that's fine. And I didn't think it was going to be a thing. And I didn't think I was going to have an issue with it. Turns out I do. I'm not into that.
Oh yeah, I
And
totally am.
Nah, well,
I'm
and
good.
she's a nice person. I'll give you a
Oh yeah, I got plastic all around my house.
connect you guys on social media.
Put me in, coach.
Put you in.
Go
I
ahead.
mean, you guys, yeah.
Yeah, we got plastic.
Yeah, I bet
Yeah,
it's like
it's-
living
that's-
with Dexter.
That's all we do is have squirt. Oh, do you squirt? Well, you can't come in if you don't squirt.
I don't
That's what we
judge. You know, it's good to know what you like and what you don't like.
So yeah, it's like
That's
going to a
one of the
water
things
gun
I'm
fight
not
at
into.
Trey's
need.
house.
My house is the sprinkler system.
It's like you just won a college football game.
Yeah, bro.
God bless.
I earned that. That was fuck yeah.
Oh, I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's nice to see a reaction, but at the same time, like
What is it? What do you? What is it? Is it the actual fluid that's coming out? Like, what is it
I
that
think it's-
bothers you about the squirting?
I think it's just I don't know how to not think that's pee.
Okay. So you locked into that. I got you.
Here's what's weird though is when they have to pee immediately afterwards. I can't reconcile.
You're supposed
this.
to though.
No, I know, but after that, like,
Oh,
how
then
did you
it's
do
more-
that and still had to pee? Like, we didn't
That's a
drink
good
like
question.
A lot of girls hold on to they piss.
There's a reservoir?
so they can squirt. Yeah, like some
lot?
girls will not. They'll not, and then when it all right, so you got a split window. When it comes, shut up. I was trying to do that, but you got a split window.
This feels like a TED talk I didn't think I was gonna like, and then I just sat
You
down.
want up piss? You brought it up.
What? No, you asked me directly if I had been peed on.
Was you? But you was talking about piss in New York.
Well, we all were.
Anywhoosies,
Kinda.
let
But
me-
anyway,
let me continue this TED
Yeah.
talk as you said.
No
So,
judgments.
You got a split or a short window, whatever fucking you're dealing with, where when they're getting ready to squirt and you get ready to make them do whatever, you got a time frame for that shit to shoot out. If not, it's immediately a UTI. So they got to let all of that shit out. So some girls will hold on to it so they can squirt like crazy. But if
Okay.
the timing is off, it's this long hospital visit. You're like, I don't want to get to know you like this, bitch.
This is the only science this motherfucker knows.
Pussy.
Does not believe in boats.
Yeah.
Does not believe in the moon. But he can tell you the exact biology
So,
of the female organ.
If she squirts, right, and then she has to go pee afterwards, it just means that it all didn't come out. Short dicks normally do that.
Oh, see
well,
what you're saying there.
No, I'm not coming at you. I'm coming at short dicks.
yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know it was such a common thing.
How many squirters have you dealt with? Only that one?
Yeah, only the one. And then another girl said that she might, but she didn't, which worked out better
No,
for
so
me.
see, here's the thing. I would argue.
I got a new mattress.
I would argue.
I want to deal with all that.
That shit comes out. Now, don't let it sit, though. That shit
What your word
stank.
choices?
Well, the
Squirt
last
stank.
The last thing I want to do is go jump up and do laundry.
That's all right, fair enough.
Barely want to go get a glass of water.
But you do art, so you got plastic around the house.
No.
I got a drop cloth, but that's absorbent.
I would argue that it's some people that haven't done it haven't. It's what's the word I'm looking for? You can make it happen.
Sure.
But I mean it's a specific kind of like
The cheat code.
Yeah, there's like a cheat code, and sometimes they don't know that they are. They're not. Some people are like, oh yeah, if you do this, then
I'm
this.
going
to
right.
do
Like
this.
there's
I
a
mean-
very clear syllogism. But then
let me maybe make it clear. I didn't like stop the show.
right.
I was just like, we roll with it. Whatever.
Yeah.
The least sexy thing you can ever say during sex is ooh or
Oh, yeah,
stop.
yeah,
So
no,
I'm not going to make somebody feel weird about it. It's just something you tally in your head. You're like, do I want to deal with this next time? Or will there one be one? And that's all I'm thinking about.
Oh.
But I'm not going to be like, get the fuck off me, you freaky. It's like
Yeah.
nothing like that.
Oh, that
I
would
was,
be.
I was raised by nice people.
That's like doing
I wasn't. I'm not going to.
I was raised by nice people. I don't know if that's kind
What's that joke of yours? We're not that family, bro.
Yeah. We have an in-ground pool.
More or above ground in this case. My point is, like, do you know what you did to cause it, or was it just like, did it just happen?
I mean, it was pretty standard.
I mean, it's all the same cheat code, repeatedly hitting the G spot. Now, I will say, black pussies are harder to make squirt because they're so gigantic. So that's
feel like we're gonna get letters for that
We
one.
talked about this, but that's why black dicks are generally big because they have to fit into big vaginas. That's how it goes.
I'd like to read your manifesto.
That's why
Are you
people
saying
are really.
that? You saying that however many generations away from now, they're going to be evolved to like tiny white women? Are you saying that the
Man, I
black
don't
dick is
understand.
going to
How does this fit into-
evolutionarily get smaller?
How does this fit
It
into?
could possibly. I just feel like
Anyway, welcome back from New York.
It's good to see
It's
you.
the way-
I'm glad things haven't changed.
fine. Yes, Slade.
Cheers.
I feel like that's really the case on interracial relationships. It's not people mad at the color. It's just like, yo, that dick don't go with that pussy. It's,
Right,
it's too big. It's
Golf
gonna
with the bowling
damage
ball.
it.
Yes, it does.
It's gonna.
It goes quite well, actually. It's kind of fun to watch.
Fun, but it's damaging.
How did we
Babies
get
come out.
here?
Do you accommodate?
To piss.
Trey,
No.
you're drinking. What is this? Texas Ranger Peach.
Yeah.
Comes from some of the same folks who have given us Rebecca Creek, and we're going to be putting some more of that on the podcast at some point. I'm not a peach whiskey drinker. Does it have more of a whiskey taste or more of a peach taste?
It has more of a peach taste. Let me see. Let me be a connoisseur.
While we're talking about all that, I want to mention, look, we got books in the studio. We're coming at you from the vault. Where are we at? The
vaultsoflore.com studios.
Vaults of Lore. Vaults of Lore. Vaults of Lore.
It's our sponsors, Paul.
It's
Oh,
the
got it.
studio's a book. And we like books. We have some copies in the studio. We're going to give them away on this episode. At the end of this episode, I
At the
think.
end of this episode.
We'll give a copy away. It's all right here. So Jerry Wayne has the other copy, and we're going to all sign one, and we're going to give it to somebody. Vaultsoflore.com.
Is it a game?
No, it's a book, and it covers a couple of different eras. And it's if you go to vaultsoflore.com, they kind of explain the lore behind it, and you can get a little bit more context. It's written by Vinford Sansbury, but it was transcribed by his human proxy, Michael Miller.
This guy?
And that's him right there. The back will tell you more about it, but you can also go to the Amazon page. The link is there on vaultsoflore.com. Vaultsoflore.com.
Studio.
Vaultsoflore.com.
Looks like the guy from Jamiroquai.
It does.
Paul, are
Cheers.
you a reader?
I can't read at all.
Paul reads. Paul reads.
Yeah, no, I do. I actually wrote and illustrated a small book.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I didn't know about this.
Yeah. It's a number of years ago when I did my first and only stand-up album that I've done so far. I packaged it with a small book that I wrote and
That's
drew
really dope.
drew illustrations for it. So it's like a toilet book. You know, it's short stories, goofy shit. It's just a joke book. But yeah. So in answer to your question, I do.
So you only read the shit you write?
No. Yeah, it would be repetitive in that way. But no, I read quite a few things. I listen to a lot of audiobooks while I paint and
Can't
shit
do it.
like that.
Had this debate
Really?
that don't
Can't
count.
do it.
Oh, okay, why?
Because it's like hearing a podcast. So after so long, you're not able to retain all of that shit because you're just hearing the goddamn words.
Well, okay.
You're not I feel like the comprehension is a little off.
Well, let me ask you this: would you say that to a blind person?
Yes.
You would tell a blind person that listening to an
I
audiobook
would
is
tell a
not
blind
as good
person-
as reading a book?
If you really want to know this shit, I suggest you pick up Braille because
So to you, reading's about being hard. That's what makes it reading.
strength in numbers. That's not the right one for that one, but it's.
Did you read that somewhere?
I heard it on a podcast and retained
on a
it.
podcast.
It's man, which is why it's wrong. Well, you're just yelling out idioms at him. You can't do that. You know, two birds in a bush. Don't make it a stone.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, I would even take a poll. The wiser blind people fuck with more Braille than audiobooks.
Maybe so.
I'm just throwing it out. I don't know if that's a
I don't know that the
thing,
study's ever
but
been
there's
done.
a stat that's there. I guarantee it's probably like 87% of blind people that pick up Braille.
Super specific number.
They
You
can
just picked
also-
out of thin air.
They can also cook alone.
I've done the math. I've done it. I've done it. I got the documents right here.
No, the only thing that I do with audiobooks is I never listen to any of them that are abridged.
Okay.
And then it's about like if you can deal with the person reading it. I don't like sound effects and bullshit like acting. You know, like I don't like any of that. So it does kind of get tricky.
I want the
it's not
author
all
to read it.
That's ideal. But
That's because I feel like the intent is there.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you know, the author knows where to emphasize, the author knows where to pause,
Without
the
a
author
doubt.
knows what's important. I get Morgan Freeman might be amazing.
Sure.
But that motherfucker knows how to be a penguin.
definitely.
So Obama's book, he read it
Yeah.
for the audiobook version, and there's a lot of when he's talking about, like, you know, growing up, like when he was in college or whatever. And so it's funny because he like you hear Obama's voice, but he's quoting some of his like college buddies. Mm-hmm. So you just hear Obama go, "Nigga, get your own damn fries." Oh my God.
Oh God!
You're like, that's the president of the United States.
That makes that book way worse.
Oh God!
Oh my God!
It is so awesome.
That's got to be so many drops on AM radio things.
Oh
Just
my
like,
God!
did you hear what Obama said?
Yeah.
You know how many times it's been snipped out and it's some hillbilly's ringtone?
Oh, you know it.
Every time he gets a text message.
That's a joke. Those hillbillies aren't smart enough to change their ringtones.
But the thing with the audiobooks is I'm always kind of reading a book, and then I can have that so I can do multiple at once. So if I'm it was different when I'm walking around or taking the subway in New York. I'm like, it's just an easy way to maximize like dead time kind of. Plus a lot of the things that I do when I do artwork, I can zone out and I can absorb that way. So it just feels like a good efficient usage of my time. But podcasts, it's like they're free.
Not reading. That's what reading.
I would not argue with that, but you are absorbing the information that is in the book.
Yeah, but you also can't multitask while reading. Like that fucks with the comprehension.
Have you ever been to the fucking gym?
You listening to music? You're not reading. Who the fuck is working out to Huckleberry Finn? That is insane to me.
You have never seen the person with
the same dude making that Obama ringtone.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
You've never seen the white lady with the Kindle on the treadmill?
Come on.
You say what?
You ever seen the white lady with the Kindle on the treadmill just sitting there, or on the elliptical just sitting there reading while she's fucking doing a thing?
I guarantee you, she can't tell you shit about that book.
Yeah, but that's because she's a soccer mom, not because she's doing two things at once.
I will say a lot of the time. A lot of the time I have to
retaining anything.
Yeah, I have to sometimes listen to audiobooks multiple times.
Like a podcast.
Yeah. So if I liked it, I listen to it another time, and then my standard now is I listen to an audiobook once. If I really like it, I listen to it twice. If I think it's a really important thing, I'll buy the physical book also.
And if you were reading that would all be one.
See, I'm bigger.
Not necessarily. I have to read pages multiple times.
Trey still reads. Trey still opens the book up and flips through the pages like some sort of Neanderthal.
Right.
I juice my books.
Yeah.
So I'm way ahead of you. Yeah, you got to.
What do you use? Blinkist or something?
I put it. No, I just you can do. I do it in the coffee grinder. You have to cut it into like 4 or 5 chunks, and then I grind it up.
Look at
and then I pour some boiling water on it, and then you drink the whole thing, and that's a way purer way to ingest the information. You only have to do it half a time.
Makes sense.
You don't even have to read it a whole time.
I feel like that's what he
that
thinks audiobooks are.
87% bullshit.
Yeah. And 13% coffee. But the point is,
I've gotten into that conversation with people a lot about like, well, you're not really reading it. It's like, well, this just goes to prove to me that I don't care. Because when it comes down to people being like, you're not really reading, it's like, well, I still know Carl Jung's life, even though I listened to the book of it. So if it's not getting a gold star from people that are like, you're not reading as many books as me, I don't know. That's not why I do it anyway. So I could give a shit. But
fair enough.
But if it doesn't work for you, I understand that.
I'm just fucking with you. But Once Upon a Time in Hollywood also has a book, and I've never read the book, but I've seen the movie. So like I don't feel like I'm missing out on too much.
do you count yourself as having read the book because you watched the movie?
It counts somewhat. I mean, there's 3 scenes I probably didn't.
You made Sam make a Trey sound.
I know. That's
Didn't that
crazy.
come out after the movie, though?
I don't know.
I think it did. I think it was a book he wrote after the movie came out. I think.
Or it was released after? Was it released after?
I mean, yeah. I mean, as far as I understand, I could be totally wrong. I know that the movie No Country for Old Men was written by Cormac McCarthy, and that was originally a screenplay, and then nobody wanted it, so he turned it into a book, and then it became a movie, and then he turned it into a book again. So that's why when you read the book, that's like, this is almost exactly like the movie. It's like, well, it's kind of a copy of the thing.
You just got to call that movie a they.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a them.
It's a they movie.
Yeah, that guy's books are crazy, though.
No Country for Old Men didn't end. Mm-hmm. It didn't have an end. It was just
I like
sort
the
of.
ending. I'm that kind of douche. Yeah, I liked it because to me it was well, now we're not going to get funny.
No, let's do it. It's fine.
No, the whole
I don't
thing.
like squirting, but hey,
Yeah.
you got a Coen Brothers twist. I appreciate that just the
Peach
same.
vodka. All right, tequila.
Whiskey.
Sorry.
We can
Let's keep going.
Yeah.
No, we don't have to go to No Country for Old Men. We have so many other things we can talk about.
No, I believe just quick is I believe that it was good versus evil versus chance, and that's the three lines in that movie, and then in the end you find that evil and chance align more than good. Is what I believe you're seeing
like
at the
that.
end of that. It's not necessarily that one is right or one is not, but like entropy or the degradation of things tends to align more with what we perceive evil to be because we view good as order.
Chaos
and
falls on that side
whole
of the
thing.
line.
So that's why I believe it ended that way because he kind of gets but that's my personal theory on it.
Which
Fuck
is
right off.
Yeah.
That I could fuck with that a lot. That actually,
This was way
the movie
easier.
sets well with me now. Like,
That's what I'm saying.
I mean?
This, I want to not like the movie, and 3
really?
minutes ago I didn't like the movie.
It's a great one. Watch it again.
No,
Right?
no,
No?
no,
Well.
because it's just going to reinforce this. I'm going to have to change my worldview about some
I'm
stuff.
sure it all gets covered in Vaults of Lore.
Chapter
Vaults of
12,
Lore.
Vaults of Lore, Vaults of Lore. Ajikaya, Volume 1.
I do
Ajik
want to read
Sand.
this.
There is another volume coming, I'm assuming, based on Volume 1.
Yeah,
So
you better have one. You can't just have Volume 1.
you can't say Volume 1 if there's not going to be a Volume 2, so we are fingers crossed hoping. That's like saying, it's, right?
Yeah, unless it's like Leonard Part 6 or whatever.
Oh, there's that.
Well, thanks for fucking up my childhood.
I didn't do it.
No, I watched. I was telling you on the phone. I watched Bill Cosby himself again.
yeah?
And it's one of the greatest comedy specials of all time.
Yes.
But I was so disturbed because of how likable he is.
Yeah.
Like I'm like you're this adorable, sweet, kind dude on this microphone, and just now knowing what I know, that I'm just like you're a piece of shit.
It's rough.
And
It's
you
rough.
have to be that in order to get that close to drug somebody. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be charming to drug somebody. You can't just be like a fucking outrageous asshole.
Paul, I like how you bring all the funny topics to the show.
Yeah, right?
I like how you bring it out of the. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. You should try dating me for a decade. I've been called a Joysucker more than once.
What a great adjective.
Yeah. Over a nice dinner.
Are you
Yeah.
that you were paying for?
Yeah.
That's-
Well, of course.
that's a way to take
Yeah,
it.
you got to throw a little guilt on there just
There
to
you are.
fucking cap it off.
Are you? Should I ask? Are you currently single?
I am and have been for the longest period of my adult life. Yeah.
Really?
So yeah, about I'm going on 3-ish years, maybe more. I'm always a relationship guy, so that's always been my thing. And now I don't know how to switch back to the other thing.
Oh, I wrote a book.
Yeah.
I haven't published it.
Let's hear it.
We'll just go talk.
Do you have an audio version? Or?
Yeah, it costs however many shots of whiskey it takes for me to read it.
You might as well fucking do one.
I know, right?
I mean, it's not like you don't have a setup.
Where would we do it?
You just sit in here and do it at night.
And just
Yeah, and just have that ready to go
all
too.
the truths.
Yeah.
All the truths.
No, man, I can't wait to hear that.
Oh, the world would not know what to do.
So what's your one sentence pitch on this elevator pitch?
No, I don't have one. It's a horrible idea.
Shit.
You should get off the elevator now before I tell you all my ideas.
Okay, all right.
What's
And
your problem?
what's that?
What you got going on?
Oh no, I don't know how to think about the reality of a relationship anymore. Like it just doesn't make sense. Not that it seems, I don't know. It just doesn't. It's like trying to believe in Santa again or something.
Yeah.
God damn. Shit.
Yeah.
God, it ain't that fucking bad.
You haven't gotten bored enough with the reality yet, though. That's
What do you
it.
mean?
There's just so much. You're gonna this 3 years is such a small number.
Absolutely.
That's
Oh,
such
okay.
a terrible.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a
yeah.
terribly small number to just be single.
But it's also at the age that I am. So I'm 41. So
Right.
when that happens, when you're this age, you're like, well, come on.
It is. I did my 30s that way, which
Yeah.
was a great way to spend your 30s. Probably I'm not trying to be all sad and morbid. A horrible way to spend your 40s, Paul. No,
Sure.
that's-
No.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, I don't know how to stay motivated in a relationship. Like I get into
You
one
have
and
the
I'm
same problem I do. It's where you're so good at being not in one.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like maybe not.
It's debatable, but I mean, I'm better me, not in one.
Yes.
Like I'm a better version of what I do. I create more. I'm more productive. I'm driven by the idea of
Yes.
Yeah.
just sort of like the chase or whatever.
Right.
And so that helps me. But then once I get a girl that I care about, then I'm like, well, why would I go out?
Sounds like
Or
you need
go
to
do-
become successful.
That's the thing.
And then that way it don't matter if she bringing you down. You're like, bitch, I made it.
That's why I have to like stay in the
Stay
pocket.
single
Yeah,
until
in
you
this thing.
become successful.
Exactly.
Like nerds do.
I guess so.
That's what most nerds
Oh,
do.
till you just start an Uber. And
Oh,
then,
till you start a big. That's what most of them do.
Makes
And then
sense.
you go put that check in the bank, and then go find yourself the
And
woman of
then
your
you go
dreams.
find-
Right, but then how do you trust him?
You don't need to. You don't trust them, even if
You can afford to fuck up.
the same way you couldn't trust them before you got rich.
A fair point. A fair point.
And you can afford to be wrong now.
That's true. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just trying. I'm trying
and
to
if you
not.
got money, you could literally just send your lady a screenshot of the bank account. That equals shut the fuck up, like without even saying it. But
the audience
I need to zip my goddamn lips.
Here's what's hilarious. The audience is watching this, and they say, Trey must be doing this from a place where his wife will never see it. Like, there's no way she listens to the podcast when it comes out. She's in the room.
Is it possible to cut to?
She's in the I wish we could. She's in the room. This is not, she's not
not be
behind soundproof walls.
No, she
Or
knows
even a
what's-
locked door.
It's better to be honest with each other.
1,000%. We're 100. I don't like. I get that. I'm a 1,000%. I'm such a relationship guy. I like other girlfriends. Like I like having a bunch of relationships. So I'm into that. But it's like if you feel like it's sucking you and it's draining you and I don't know
That's
how
all
to
I'm
be
trying to
motivated in it. Well, but also this.
Just describe my birthday.
Just suck it and drain it. No, but if you feel you're unmotivated in the relationship, the problem is that you're not narcissistic enough in the relationship. If everything is revolving around you, all the motivation relies on you. All your dreams is her dreams. You gonna be somebody? Like all you want to support. You want somebody that's basically locked into being supportive to you. It's not saying that you shattering the shit that she has, but
Right.
if you're so narcissistic and she's attached to that, I don't want to say this, but the natural state of most women, they'll just basically suppress and they'll fall into more of a helpmate sort of person.
Like a nurturing thing.
Yes, and in the meanwhile, every now and again you go, hey, go out and be what you want to be. That's all you have to say every once in a while, and they will flourish with that shit.
All right.
Keep in mind, he got married at 12. That was
You should write an audiobook.
That was the.
Oh no, I'd be
Nah, fuck, we
staring.
should just cut that part out and publish it.
No, I'm being serious because the one thing that all women will resent. Let's say you are like like we always talked about like
I like when he says all. It always
Well, like-
makes me feel like this
well-
isn't going to get talked about later.
what
87%.
well like
It's a much safer number.
I love 87%, but like
Those 13% know who they are.
there's always a big conversation sort of about beta males and shit like that, and a lot of women end up resenting those guys because they become the submissive partner. They be the one that locks too far in.
The guy? Is that what you mean?
The guy, he locked into he becomes the submissive partner. A woman would much rather a dude that is narcissistic and striving toward what the fuck he wants. A guy that knows what the fuck he wants. She'd much rather deal with that shit and play second to that than some undecisive bitch. Just some fucking dude like, honey, what do you think? No, I need you to step up and be the man. I don't have suggestions.
We should take but there should be a poll. There should be a
I thought you
scientific.
say we should take a break. That's what I'm
No.
Okay.
No, we gonna jump in it.
Okay.
No, I just think we should. I don't know how right those numbers are.
No, I just think this is your experience and your perspective. It doesn't necessarily prescribe to everyone, but
It's
this
also
is what
my
you...
observation. It's a lot of it is shit I've lived through, but it's also like,
Hey, bringing 3 women home a week.
I've been.
You know, there's a lot of girls out there.
I'm impressed.
Also, my dad used
Dr.
to be
Tutson
Go ahead,
is just Dr. Tutson. Drop it. Like, you really put your foot in it.
Yeah. Okay.
That was.
Yeah. I mean. Yeah. You know what I mean. So. I just my dad used to be a pimp, so I know a lot of. I do know a lot of shit, but yeah.
For the Lord.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, you're 41, around 45, 46. Find somebody that's like, find a troubled woman. But like honestly, troubled.
I've had my
you had them, but you had them in your 30s. You fucked up. I said 45, 46.
Right.
You find somebody that's in their late 30s that's troubled. They've been trying to find their way, and you either be on the path, bitch. I know where the fuck I'm going.
No, my problem is I don't think I want that.
Right?
I guess is my
Got
thing.
all the versions
Because
of that.
I was trying to do
Troubled
this.
is easy.
I was trying to have this conversation the other day with my buddy who drove from New York with me. And I was like, I think I'm like a misogynist in a way that should be studied or something, because it's not that I dislike women at all, but I can't think of anything that I do that's actually improved by having a woman around strictly by her being a woman. Like, I don't mean like my mother or friends of mine or anything like that. It's just that, like, other than having sex, I can't think of a scenario in my life that I am happier to have a girl around simply for the nature of that. And I don't necessarily mean that in an awful way.
Well, when do you think...
I'm placating a lot of the time. I'm like telling you that I'm having more fun, where in reality, I'd much rather just be shooting the shit with my guy friends.
Yes.
You can set this up. You
What's
can
that?
have it because.
Oh no, that's what I do.
At what age you think you'll die?
It could. Well, the gypsy told me 52, but I don't really know like if that's accurate or not. I mean, I just hit her with my truck and I kept going. I figure I got a couple of more good years in me.
So call it 57.
Yeah.
I'll drink to that, my friend.
Cheers.
All right, cheers, guys. Oh my God, fucking Paul.
Does
dude.
that mean I'm invincible till then?
Obviously, that gypsy wasn't.
I should be fighting crime.
You don't?
Not as much as I used to.
This summer, they call him the bumper.
That might be a decent little screenplay.
The bumper?
Yeah. It's more PC than Gypsy Killer.
Yeah.
We had to switch it up.
Yeah.
That dude who plays Aquaman, he's against that.
Well, here's the thing: you can't. Then you gotta make sure you cast an actual gypsy killer. You can't get someone who hasn't actually killed a gypsy.
We'll get Daniel Day-Lewis to do it.
Oh no, or Scarlett Johansson. She does everything that hasn't been actually done. So.
Man, did you watch that movie she was just
Black
in?
Widow?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Even Disney knows that movie was about her ass.
I didn't watch. It seemed real weird
Black
to
Widow.
make a movie out of the least interesting one.
It ain't about her. She's a vehicle for a much more interesting sister.
Sure. Yeah, she's good looking.
Uh-huh.
I don't think she was ever prettier than she was in Lost in Translation.
She was
my hot
gorgeous in
take.
Lost in Translation.
That's my
She
hot
was.
take.
That might be. That's the that.
Same
her
with
and
Cameron
Lost-
Diaz
Cameron
in The
Diaz in
Mask.
Something About Mary or The Mask.
The Mask. She was full figured. And then and she was very pretty in Something About Mary.
The problem with
but she was
Something About
very
Mary was
waifish.
the personality in Something About Mary was so goddamn perfect that it made her even more perfect. And I get
it.
That trumps The Mask for me.
I get it.
Even though
It's the mask.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
All right, I like them thinner
It's the mask.
than both of y'all.
Yeah.
All right, we got.
I don't know.
She looked like a Diaz in that one.
We gotta-
The rest of her career, the bitch was just Cameron.
We do now have to take a break. We're gonna put this episode in the can. Paul, you're sticking around for 9:44, just around the corner. If you're watching the Twitch, you're gonna get it tonight. If not, you're gonna get it on Friday, because we love you. Paul, Oddo, how do they find you on all things social?
My handle on Instagram, EAUXDDEAUX. That's how I've started doing my shit. It's the same way that you say my last name, but just with a very annoying spelling.
Just spelled in Louisiana.
Yeah. So that's my art page and where I'm posting a lot of stuff. I've had to change my personal one to private for Reddit shit has gotten a little out of hand.
Well, you're doing some remarkable stuff on Reddit. You paint live on there. You're a stand-up comic, and we always talk about that. You won the Boston Comedy Festival. You have credit. And we'll talk more in the next episode about some of where you've been even with us. But you're an artist. I have one of your paintings on the wall.
Yeah.
You're a fantastic artist. You do on Reddit. You live stream a lot of what you're painting. You just painted this 120 hour
300 hour peacock, 6 foot by 4 foot,
6 foot tall by 4 foot wide. It's
Can I pitch some art for you to?
Sure. I mean, I'm always talking.
I want a chick listening to an audiobook squirting.
I've done these things. You'd be perfect on Reddit.
While recording a podcast.
Yeah. This is out there. But I have prints for sale of that. Just so
Paul Oddo.
On my website is pauloddo.com, spelled normal.
ODDO.
Yeah,
you should definitely go look. The prints are remarkable. You're really, really, really good, even if you are a sucker of joy.
I appreciate that.
Paul
That's
Oddo
for you ladies out there.
on the podcast. We'll see you guys on another episode soon.
They don't want no problems. Nah.
Music provided by Scarface. Thank you for listening to yet another excellent episode of the Whiskey Brothers Podcast, the world's funniest podcast ever. The Whiskey Brothers Podcast was made in America by Americans, mostly in and around the Houston area. All content copyright the Whiskey Brothers. This concludes our broadcast day. Goodbye.